When you hover over infantry in the unit builder, the description tells you it is the most basic building block of one's military. That is, you need to use other units in combination with infantry to have a well-rounded and effective military. But today, we're going to be throwing all that out of the window and only use infantry. I won't even allow myself to use support units. And yes, that means we won't be able to counter ships and planes, so if we face them, we'll just have to bite the bullet for the most part. I'll be playing as Hungary because this comment wanted me to do a video on it, so make sure to subscribe and leave a comment if you want to see me do more of your ideas. I start off by turning on the ignore safety regulations policy and spending all my money on building electronics factories. We'll be using the static lines doctrine again because the other 3 doctrines won't be as helpful to us for this challenge. We save around $20 million from the policy, which we use to buy resources and make troops. Our 4 electronics factories gives us a lot of electronics to sell to AI right from the beginning, and you quickly find that money won't be a problem for us. We can easily max out most of our spendings and still make $4 million in profit. However, not everything was perfect. In our region, all of these countries had become players, which greatly limited how much we could expand. And sooner or later, we would have to go to war with one of them. The only question is, who would we go to war with first? And the answer is Croatia. Croatia was the only country that wasn't able to make tanks, and they were still struggling to annex Bosnia, so I saw them as easy pickings. Right after Croatia annexed Bosnia, I declared war, going straight for their capital. They did put up a fight, but were ultimately defeated. But this was actually extremely careless. Why? As I was finishing off Croatia, I realized I was not the only one on the prowl. I quickly rushed my troops home to defend my capital. Austria was looking for a quick victory by immediately taking my capital with tanks, but I wasn't letting that happen easily. I let Austria lose some tanks trying to capture my capital, but I then launched a counterattack. My army of around 50,000 troops managed to defeat his 300 or so tanks, but how? Normally, 200 tanks alone can take out 70,000 troops. Well, there are multiple factors. I abandoned the research branch early and started to research infantry, so I gained a little more attack on them. I also maxed out static lines, which gives extra damage against tanks. However, none of these will be as important as flanking. Let's take the example of 70,000 troops again. If I split up my 70,000 troops into stacks of 10,000, they absolutely destroy the 200 tanks. Now, with our capital secure, we could prepare to go on the attack. But first, I want to talk about probably one of the most overlooked features in this game, conscription. You might be wondering why I chose to go extensive conscription here. Well, the benefits immensely outweigh the drawbacks. Yes, I do lose 25% of my tax income, but most of my income came from trade anyway. Yes, I do lose more starting XP on my troops, but the difference wasn't actually too big. And yes, this XP debuff does apply to all my units, but I wasn't even allowed to use them anyway. And in return, I get a manpower increase similar to Germany's. And let me remind you, I was playing as Hungary, a country with 1/10 the population of Germany. This challenge honestly became a bit trivial, as I was making a lot of money and manpower. Anyways, through flanking, my troops wiped out Austrian divisions again, and again. I gradually turned the tide of the war and was able to lay siege to Vienna itself. I was insistent on constantly putting troops on the city as it would prevent Austria from being able to make tanks. But I did retreat in the end because I thought Germany was going to attack both of us. But no! The real threat would come from the east. Welp, it's over. Russia sent 1,200 tanks across the border straight to my capital. If that wasn't enough, it was accompanied by Russian air support, which we actually couldn't do anything against. Well, I guess all we can do now is watch as Russia kills us, forcing us to restart. Just kidding, I surrounded them and wiped them out. Austria tried to help Russia's attack, but their tanks suffered the same fate as well. Austria tried the same attack again, even though he just saw how it played out 1 minute ago. Nevertheless, our victory in that battle opened the gates to Vienna and I finally managed to take it. The rest of Austria soon followed, which allowed me to fully annex them, ending the war with Russia in the process. Now we could look outwards. Germany was already being attacked, so I joined in against them. They didn't put up a fight as Britain had already taken most of their cities. I tried to launch an attack to get Berlin, but nope, the British got that too as they forced peace to Germany. I then turned my attention south to Bulgaria. They have been fighting with Greece for a while now, so they couldn't put up much resistance either. I easily stormed through their territory, surrounded their capital, and took it. Annexing Bulgaria allowed me to form Austria-Hungary, which was really useful as the modifier gave me more defense for my troops. Oh, and I also got cybernetics in 2024, which is honestly not even that good. But all that was left to do now was to go to war with the rest of Europe. And with that, we have united Europe as Hungary using infantry only. This challenge was so much easier than expected, probably because barely anyone was using ships, planes, or artillery. Also, the server died extremely quickly, so aside from Austria, I really didn't have to fight any players. I did try this challenge twice, but the other time I only really had to fight Italy, and I'll show you how it went. Yeah, he left right after that. If this video gets 1000 likes, I'll do this challenge again, but with no military spending. Please don't make me. Hey, if you made it this far in the video, thank you. In return, I'd like to invite you to my Discord server where you can be a part of my videos by partaking in our events. The server invite will be shown on the top right of the screen about now. I hope to see you there.